pain from shingles is actually worse than a gunshot. The zingers were totally incapacitating and caused me to spontaneously curl up in a fetal position. This reflexive movement was my body's response to try and protect itself, to stop the pain, and to prevent it from recurring all at the same time. In the flick of a switch that traumatized me, along with my T10 spinal nerve, my former life disappeared. I had been transformed from a vibrantly healthy 68-year-old guy to a survivor cowering in fear of the jolts of pain. My mind's sole focus was riveted on relieving the agony. It was all-consuming. To describe this as a humbling experience would be a gross understatement. For someone who had enjoyed a high degree of control through most of my adult life and had treated more than 70,000 patients, I was now rendered completely powerless to affect what was happening to my body. I found myself in a desperate situation, at the mercy of a vicious and relentless microscopic organism. I had absolutely no control of how my body reacted to the zingers. I was unable to stifle the screams and remain a silent sufferer. It felt like I was wearing an electrocuting belt strapped around my waist that was always turned on. And manning the control switch was a deranged, sadistic individual who took great pleasure in turning up the current to the max and zapping me whenever he chose. My initial reaction to this horrific situation was to feel anger with myself. I was highly self-critical for having allowed myself to become so stressed that my immunity broke down to a point where I contracted the virus. I know lots of stress management techniques. Why didn't I do them? And why didn't I get the shingles vaccine? Such a simple preventive measure that I had failed to do. I also felt anger with God for allowing this to happen to me. What did I do to deserve this? Shame was also included as part of my emotional pain. Shame for being so physically weak that I had become vulnerable to the virus, when the primary focus of my personal and professional practice for the past 30 years has been optimal health. This was a long way from that state of well-being. I grieved and cried over the loss of my physical strength and vitality and a relatively happy life. They were gone, and I had no idea if I'd ever regain them. I had great empathy for the vast majority of my patients who were also suffering with chronic pain, but perhaps the emotion that I was least able to express was fear. I was afraid of the pain itself, and of the unknown. How long would it last? Would I be able to relieve the pain enough to work, to play with my grandkids, and to enjoy my life again? Enduring chronic pain is like being tortured without any let-up. Chronic means that to some extent it's always there, like a jammed switch that won't turn off. Medically, it's defined as pain that persists beyond 3 months. And if the pain level remains at a level 5 or higher, then you're presented with a formidable challenge in shifting your focus to anything else for more than a few minutes. The degree of difficulty in diverting attention away from the pain increases exponentially with each higher numeric rating. For me, pain beyond a 6 made it nearly impossible to function well. Other than the zingers that occurred throughout the first month, the pain persisted at a baseline level between 8 and 9 for more than 2 months, and was never lower than a 5 baseline for the first 6 months. This was the case only when not using medical marijuana. Never in my life had I experienced chronic pain or any pain even close to this intensity. As an athlete, I've certainly had my share of physical pain from broken bones, bruises, sprains, and strains, but nothing lasting longer than 2 or 3 weeks. Whatever the injury was, I usually noticed a slight pain reduction almost daily. The shingles pain, however, was constant, and the improvement measured in weeks and months. During the first 9 months, it would typically take from 7 to 9 weeks to reduce the baseline pain level by 1 degree. I learned during medical school that nerves can take an exceptionally long time to heal. But now I had been given an opportunity to personally experience just how slow that